Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside Career Technical Education. That's the name of our podcast. I'm Ann Baldwin, and I am the host of today's program, which is really all about the parents. What do the parents think about you getting into healthcare or you getting into the trades? Well, today we're talking to Karen Juchniewicz about that. Karen, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. You know, sometimes it's good to hear from the source. So as a parent, what are some of the thought processes that went through your mind when you were considering what the future of your education of your daughter is going to look like?
Well, I knew it had to be something that was hands-on because my daughter particularly was someone who kind of got lost in long lectures. So she needed to be that person that would get up and actually implement something that was taught to her in class. So I thought it would be perfect for her, and I think it was.
Well, and also I know from doing my homework that it runs in your family. Healthcare runs in your family for generations. So I think when you're brought up in that environment too, you do develop a passion for helping people.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that she didn't know that right away, but as time moved on and she thought more a little bit in depth of her own career, she found it a very viable prospect.
Right. And here we are now still, you know, in all of this COVID situation, a lot of kids that are going to four-year universities or maybe studying remote. We hear every day in the news about college debt. Was the financial piece of this also a consideration for you?
It absolutely was. Actually, she is sort of making the transition to on her own. So she had to consider what her long-term effects would be financially. And I think that this, coming to Porter and Chester was a very viable option for her in that they made it very affordable. She was eligible for some grants, and it really worked out well for her.
There is a bit of a stereotype, though. I know when my kids were considering, I wanted my daughter to be a plumber. I really did. I said, come on, we'll buy pink trucks and we'll make a lot of money. But that wasn't in her wheelhouse. But there is that bit of a stereotype when your kids don't go to college. Did you find you had to deal with that, or did she have to deal with that at all? And what's your advice to parents who might say, yeah, but...
Absolutely. And it's probably one of the most frustrating things for me because schools in general, I think high schools have a tendency, with all good intent, to try to push a child to go on to college, 4-year degree, possibly even further than that. And it was always frustrating to me to think that there are so many great careers at technical schools, and we're not really pushing that at the high school age, where, and I've just seen the opposite effect in that there have been so many of my daughter's friends and, her group of friends that really wanted to do something but didn't want to go to college, and they all ended up going to technical school. She has a group of friends, many of whom have gone to Porter and Chester.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. So medical assisting is what your daughter took on. And from what I understand, 12 months and flexibility. Because whether you're just out of high school or regardless of your situation, for many people, not only not to incur the college debt, but some folks have to still work full time. So this program with its blended learning, which means lecture online and then going into the industry modeled labs for your hands-on, it just seems to be a better fit for people's lifestyle.
Yeah, it really was a good fit for her lifestyle. She had, and she still has, a young daughter, but she was in her, early grades of grammar school. And she needed to come to school at night because she was working during the day in daycare. So this was perfect for her schedule. Absolutely.
So some parents say, like, for example, I was in news broadcasting, and I would always say to my kids, don't ever think about getting into news broadcasting. You've been in the healthcare field, but you didn't say that to your daughter. So it must be a career that you enjoy as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I have been in the field. I've taught. I've actually gone back into the field and managed some urgent cares. And so she saw that. She absolutely saw that. the whole time I did not know, though, that it was making that impact on her
Right.
until she got into her early mid-20s.
Isn't that something? Because you can't, they say don't bring work home with you, but you do. And, some of the sad stories, I'm sure, but some of the success stories. And when you are in medical assisting, you really are the front line, the first person oftentimes that the patient, regardless of their situation, encounters. So it's that human touch, too.
Yes, you make an impact at the front desk, you make an impact in the clinic. It doesn't matter where you are, you're dealing with people that are entrusting themselves to you. And in doing that, you find that personal satisfaction in helping others. And I think that's what she's experiencing now herself.
And you talk about job security and room to grow, right? So when someone like your daughter graduates from Porter and Chester in the medical assisting program, the education doesn't stop there depending on where they land. So where has your daughter landed? Where is she working, and how have you seen her? She just graduated not that long ago, but you've already seen some growth.
Yes, absolutely. So she's not even been in the field for a year yet, and she's working at Wheeler Clinic. She's presently in the New Britain facility. She's actually been in all of their facilities at one time or another. And from what I understand, because I've met a couple of the people, they are so happy with her. They're happy with her training. They are happy to have her go from one facility to another. She happens to be that person that's able to fluctuate and be flexible for them. And she has a family at work. That's what I hear from her.
Wow.
She has her work family. Loves it. Absolutely loves it.
Right. And so many of these large medical facilities, or even the small ones, they make sure they continue your education.
Yes.
So you can continue to grow. You can continue to accrue that education that moves you up in the world. And let's face it, you talk about essential workers. You're it.
They are.
So there's always going to be room for folks in healthcare.
Yes.
So what's your best piece of advice to a parent out there who might be considering the trades and or a healthcare career for their kids as opposed to a 4-year college?
Absolutely do it. I'm saying that for someone who is not that type of person who wants to sit in large lecture halls and kind of be lost in the crowd, you're not going to find that in technical school. She didn't find that in technical school. She made lifelong friends that she still is in contact with, and her career is just skyrocketing. She has now even higher hopes and dreams for herself because her facility where she works at will pay for tuition reimbursement. So she has gained so much confidence doing what she's doing to even want to go further.
Wow, what a great story.
Yeah,
and thank you for your words of wisdom, really. Karen Juchniewicz, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was so great to talk to you from the parental perspective, because I think that's still one of those barriers that we've got to work through. And of course, we want to thank all of you for tuning into this edition of Inside Career Technical Education, and also mention that if you are considering a career in healthcare or any of the trades, we invite you to go to the website porterchester.edu. We'll see you back here next time.